Morning world, welcome to Friday 21st of October, and a job I'm not really looking forward to very much. Those of you that know, well, you know. Still, it's not all bad news. I mean, we did have some very, very good news yesterday, I admit, but that good news meant that I could open that gate and that all my girls and young fellas and the bull can have a bit of freedom and then go back out again. It is a bit wet, a little bit moist, and I'm going to have to watch out for poaching up in the gateways here. I could always open the second gate, but yeah, the cattle at the moment can come in and out as they please. I need to get in there and have a muck out really, but now they can get out. That's not quite so urgent. Wants doing, but it's not urgent. Right, let's get this blooming wire out of that machine. I was going to do this last night. Couldn't be bothered. Oh, you coming in? Come on then. Not going very far, I'm going about 20 feet, but at least I know where you are. Let's try second gear rather than fourth, shall we? Right. Well, I can't reach it up there, so I've got to make it a bit lower. That'll do. You want to come back out again? Come on. All right then, how am I going to tackle that? What a mess. See, the worst bit about that was I knew it was there. My brother asked me to clear the brambles out from the front of the old pig shed because there's a drinker in there that he wanted out. And I already said to him, no, I'm not doing it. There's a roll of wire in there. I know it's in there somewhere and I'll blimmin' hit it. And in fairness, he said, oh, that's fair enough. Okay, don't do it. Don't risk it. And I wasn't going to. But then we were to put a couple of posts in around the cottage. I was going to flail back the brambles there anyway. And I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm there. I'm literally 6 feet away from it. I'll just tickle over it gently. And hopefully I'll spot the wire before I hit it. No, I hit the wire before I spotted it, and that stopped the machine dead in less than a second. Well, it made me jump actually. So what do you reckon, disc cutter or hand tool? I'm gonna struggle getting disc cutter in there. Yeah, we'll start off with a hand tool. So one is quieter, it's cheaper to run. Not that disc cutter is going to break the bank. And I can get into places with this thing that I can't with a disc cutter. So I ain't going to do any damage to anything else. Well, maybe myself. High chance of me damaging myself. I reckon I might lose a bit of blood on this. Serves me right for not listening to myself. I can hear you all. Yeah, get this cutter out, get the settling out. Oh, I ain't got settling, so I can't do that. We'll get there. Might just take me a little bit longer. God. I think we're getting there. Slowly. I'm out of puff. Okay. What else? Cut that. It is pretty well wrapped around in here. So I could cut that lump off. I think the worst bit is it's jammed down by the side of the bearing here. I don't want to damage the bearing. That would be a bad idea. Okay, if I cut that off, I can always tie a knot in some of this and pull it again. How are you stuck on there? Just that, like that. Right, that's a big lump of it out. I won't be using that again. Now I've just got to try and get this bird's nest sorted. So I don't know if this is going to make for an interesting video or not, because at the end of the day it's a bloke trying to get barbed wire out of a hedge trimmer, and anybody who's ever used a hedge trimmer will have done it. Will have done this. Maybe not the same way. I mean, this is, well, to a lot of thinking, this is the hard way of doing it. But yeah. So I've got you out of there. So it's not wrapped around the bearing that bad, but it is wrapped around the shaft there, pretty tight. Can I spin that round a bit more? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cut into here what I can, and then see if I can spin the shaft round with that bar. Recognise that bar? That was the one we tried the other day for the, it's a big bell spike. I haven't drawn any blood yet. Yeah, it's a big bell spike that the thread was gone on. The guys tend to use it as a bar for digging holes, for putting a gate post in. So I've also found it's pretty good for spinning this, because it's got a point I can get it in. So, grunty noises. Have you noticed? I was talking to Rich Corlock about this yesterday. I noticed it on videos. In fact, I'm having to cut some of it out of some of the videos. I do an awful lot of grunting these days, and Rich was saying, yeah, he does the same thing. And Sam was nodding vigorously at both of us when we were saying about it. Is it sort of the getting older thing, and like, is it like an exasperation noise rather than an effort noise? It's like, ugh. Because we've done it so many times, or we know what's going to happen, or we know what's coming, or whatever else. So it's not a case of, oh, I don't want to do this thing. It's just a case of, oh God, not again. Or is it just an old man noise? I mean, you tell me. I mean, plenty of you are my age, plenty of you are younger than me, and quite a few of you are older than me. So have you come across the same phenomenon that as you get older, you get a bit more, and it's even unconscious. I mean, half the time I'm cutting stuff out of it, I didn't even know I did it. Is it an old man thing? I don't know. So a mixed reaction to the idea of doing a podcast. So let me just remind you that the podcast was Mrs. P's idea. She doesn't particularly want to be on camera, but she does want to be kind of involved another way. So, and a lot of folks saying, oh, well, podcast wastes time, you wouldn't do it. Well, there are times when you don't need to see what's going on. If I can describe to you what's happening, or tell a story, or give you something from the past, then you don't actually have to see it, because if I'm going to talk pre-Farmer P videos, I've got no video of that anyway. And bearing in mind, I've got nearly 50 years of pre-Farmer P stuff that I could tell you about and share with you, and give you a load of backstory that I couldn't do it on video because it's gone. That's all gone. So that was kind of part of the idea, is where did I come from, how did I get here, and can I explain it to you in words rather than pictures. I mean, I can't do animation because I'm not that good at drawing. I hadn't got the time. So that was kind of the idea, and something that Mrs. P can get involved in. So we can basically pick a subject that either I can talk about, or she can, as some of you. And bearing in mind, she's been working for Citizens Advice Bureau for years and years and years. So maybe there's a topic that someone will say to me, oh, right, okay, I want it to be farmer pertinent, okay? So it's not going to be a case of, we're not really interested in divorce and stuff like that, but it's a case of, maybe on the benefit scale. Now, I'm not trying to plead for poor farmers and that, but there are plenty of folks out there, farmers included, who are, well, let's just say they're nowhere near as well off as a lot of the country would think they are. Just because you own land doesn't mean you have any money. And I don't know about anybody else, but to me, selling land to pay a debt is like selling a kidney. In fact, in some ways, I'd rather sell a kidney than land. Farmers are proud folks, but so if somebody wanted, this is where this is all going, wanted Mrs. P to have a bit of input with her CAB knowledge, so it hasn't got to be all about one subject, all right? And do you want me to invite guests if I do that? I mean, it's not definite I'm doing it, because I still got to work out how I'm going to find time. This time of year isn't so bad, although I got to feed cattle indoors. Once it gets too wet, I can't do any tractor work, he says, probably. So a lot of tractor work coming up. Once I finish this, we're on to slitting. Yeah, the podcast idea, it's not something that I can do on video. It's something I can do off video, and that you can just sit and put your headphones on. You can listen to it in your car, in your tractor, in your lorry, whatever you want to do. There are some times when the visual side of it is a distraction. Does that make sense? Well, I know what I'm talking about. Right, well, we are definitely making some progress here. So if I can get that out of there, we got two chances of succeeding here. Evil, nasty stuff. Just don't flick back and hit me in the face, all right? Quite often, this is just a bit at a time. Almost there. Almost there. One bit left to go. Where are you jammed in there? And that's it. That's the last of it. Out. Right, well luckily Scrap Man's coming soon, so he can look after that. While we're there, we might as well stick a bit of goo in that, haven't we? And I can't reach that one, so I'll drop him down a bit. You can go back in there. Now I can reach it. That's enough. I want to go too mad on this end because that's the belt drive end, the belt's on there, and the last thing you really want is grease emigrating from the bearing onto the belts. You won't work well like that. I don't need this again for a little bit, so although the tractor does seem to travel better with it on, it gets in the way. I had to turn the engine off. It's easier to equalise the pressure on the hydraulic lines with the engine off. I just engine off, bang it over into float, backwards and forwards a couple of times. That usually just frees stuff off. Right, I can't put this back where it was because the roller's behind there, and I need to get the roller out soon because it's getting to that time of year when I need to take the water out of it. So, in fact, we might go and have a look in a minute and see just where the bungs are on there. If there's one at the bottom, I might even take one of the bungs out now and start the process. That's it, all done. Head cleaned out, post rammer off, all fueled up, fluid levels, everything checked. We are ready to go. Just as soon as I've had my breakfast. Yeah, breakfast. Look at that daft dog down there. Hey, they are absolutely fixated on them cattle. So they will sit there for hours just at the fence going, you know, and the cattle come up on the fence going, yeah, okay, whatever. That doesn't look very promising. I want to go that way to do edge cutting. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera. That's rain. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, breakfast.